On today's show, everything is golden. Everything is great. Everything is sunshine, lollipops, rainbows. What happens to the Dallas Mavericks if everything goes right? Talk about that and more in today's Locked On Mavs. Stop it! Stop! The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs. Great, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for reading every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season's around the corner. Visit FanDuel app today. Start planning your futures bets today. And joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside me, the FanDuel future fiend, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Where are you at on Laffy Taffy? Like the candy.
If it's in a bowl of assorted candies and I have other choices, I'm probably choosing something else.
Okay. Do you remember the song?
No.
Oh,
Oh, that song. I thought you meant like their like jingle for their commercial. Like, no, I don't remember. But of course, the Laffy Taffy. Yeah. Shake that Laffy Taffy. Yeah.
Yeah, one, I do like Laffy Taffy, the candy. Two, I mentioned this song the other day around a couple people on my team, and immediately got the, hey, my manager is old stuff. And they had no clue what this song was. So I was kind of bummed, for the next generation. I'm like, holy crap, y'all don't know this song. And then another thing, I'm like, okay.
The song came out in 2005.
I don't care. It's something you don't.
I'm saying it came out in 2005. It's not like it's like a. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that is 20 years ago.
I was gonna say these people are like 21 and like 23 and something.
That's
so,
like when we were a kid. Anybody singing an 80s song.
Okay,
It
keep
is.
on going.
No,
We did a mailbag.
Today's episode, existential crisis for Isaac and myself. We did a mailbag where we asked questions of our subtext subscribers. If you are on the text line, we asked you to give us some questions. You guys sent in some great questions. We'll talk about Lively's development today. We'll talk about Max Christie's development. We'll talk about, does Anthony Davis play the 5 in small ball lineups? We'll talk about that. We'll get into some other random questions too. But let's start here, Isaac Harris. I want to talk about this question. What has to happen for this team to make the finals again? We all expect best case scenario, they make the conference finals. Y'all talked about that. But what if it's better than that? And so I want to take that question even further. Best case scenario for the Dallas Mavericks. What happens and what happens to get there? Because honestly, best case scenario, I think this team could make the finals. But a lot of worst case things would have to happen to the Thunder, the Nuggets, probably the Rockets. Like, I would be betting on some injuries to go through there. But best case scenario for the Mavericks, what happens?
Yeah, I took it more matchup dependent, more than like going down each of the bullet points of like, hey, this has to happen for each one of the players. Because if we're talking finals, that's why I've always been in like, hey, best case scenario, I think is like conference finals. Because it's just a little bit easier to see a path, of being better than a Houston or Denver or something like that. It's the OKC route. I mean, we just saw them win a championship. They're also young. They're going to probably be projected to win 60 games for I don't know how many years in a row here. So it really, for me, it comes down to, all right, if all these things go right for the Mavs, what do they have enough to beat this OKC team? And that's where it's just like, it's really hard. I mean, it feels like there's more, it feels like there's way more like question marks on Dallas's side of like, man, it's kind of like the Doctor Strange, like going through all the scenarios.
14 million scenarios.
Yeah. And there's like one scenario in which Dallas could make it to the finals because all these things had to go right, to where there's like so many other things with OKC to where it's like they have more, and there's less question marks there. But for me, it all starts. I'm sure you're probably going to go down a bunch of different things. For me, it just all starts with Anthony Davis.
Correct.
And if Anthony Davis is fully healthy, it's an MVP type season. He's all defense, second team All NBA. Then that
he'd be first if he's MVP type season.
Okay. Yeah, because it's positionless now, right?
Although we did see sixth MVP last year was second team All NBA. So
anyway, so I think
he's the second best player ever.
I think it all starts with him, and yeah, it all starts with him.
It does. It all starts with him. We did our lockdown top 100 that's going to come out in a couple weeks, and I have him as a top 10 player. I think he could get higher than that because there's a couple of players I had above him that I was like, well, there are scenarios where I think he's better than a Victor Wembanyama, a Anthony Edwards, somebody, a Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if I had Mitchell ahead of him, but somebody like that is usually in those ranges, in those lists. He could be better than those guys because he brings it on both ends. He averaged 27 or 26 points a game last year for the Lakers. He was 12 rebounds, 3.5 assists. He upped his assists with the Mavericks, and he was averaging 4 assists per game there. He can put on the deck. He can score. He can defend and be one of the best defenders in the NBA for sure. And I think that it all hinges on how good he can be and how healthy he can be, honestly. You look at the last couple of years, 51 games last year, but 76 the year before that, 56 year before that, 40 the year before that, 36 in a shortened year the year before that. Then you go back to 2020 and it's 62, but that was a shortened season. So that most of the games there, it's like every other 2 years, like he has bad injury seasons, it seems like. But then he gets one where he's pretty healthy.
Let me fire a question back at you here. How many of the things, like, let's say you get that type of Anthony Davis season, how many of the things have to go right outside of him for you to say they have a legit shot at making that type of run? Is it every single thing? Yeah. Is it every single thing that has to go? Because I look at it and say, like, all right, Jokic is in a whole different stratosphere of himself. Like, we get that, but look at the surrounding cast around it. Like, what if you had an Anthony Davis type of like crazy season, all the surrounding pieces around Denver? I mean, do they have to have everything to hit perfectly right for them to go on a big like run like that to the conference finals? Or that's why I'm looking at some of the things of, because I think we'd all answer in that, well, Kyrie comes back, March, end of February, he's like relatively healthy by the end of the season. He looks really good. Cooper Flagg is like, man, is he like weirdly like in an all-star conversation, type of thing.
Like Blake Griffin rookie year level.
Yeah, like you're like talking, he is just way ahead of schedule. You look at, even some of the bench pieces, one of those guys becomes like your point of attack defender that is just locking down people. D'Lo has a great start to the season, and he's like, man, he's playing the most efficient basketball. The big men all stay healthy. Like, if you go down all through the list, do you have to have everything? Do you have to have the Doctor Strange scenario for them to go on that type of, or could you look at it and say, man, I actually think like if you got that from AD and you got Kyrie coming back and being like really healthy and like really good, do you need just like one more of the other things? Do you need 2 more of the other things? Does everything else besides that have to hit for you to make a big run like that? That's what I don't know.
I don't think you need everything else. I think you do need Kyrie. That's the next step. If you're going to make a finals, like if that's what we're talking about, you're going to go to the finals, then Kyrie has to come back and be 75 to 80%, 85% of what he was last year.
Yeah.
And he was really good. Really, really good. All-star on merit, right? Not just because the Mavs were a good team and you just threw another all-star in there, right? Like that good. And so if Kyrie is that, then I think those two, like, this is as good a duo as anybody in the West, right? LeBron, Luka, Jokic, Murray, SGA and Jalen Williams, like Kevin Durant, Naaman Thompson, or Şengün, or whoever else you want to put in that duo. Like, they're as good as those guys, for sure. They just need some time to gel. And if those two are that good, if your stars are that good, then everything else doesn't have to be as good. If Kyrie comes back and he's like 50% of what he was, then all of a sudden I need more of those things that you just said. The centers all have to be good. The point of attack guys have to emerge and all that. I also do think that Cooper Flagg does need to be like a starter level player at the very least for this scenario to work out.
Yeah. Well, I think starter level is one thing and one thing compared to like that type of like, if the All-Star team if the All-Star team was 20, people in the West, he could challenge for one of those spots or something like that. Like, Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. Does Cooper Flagg have to have one of the best rookie seasons ever for them to have a long playoff run? I wonder how fans would feel about that.
I would like to know what fans think about where the Mavericks would finish in the West, and you can do that by filling out our Mavs fan survey. We put a link in the description. We put it all over social, so go fill that out. I think we had over 500 responses already, which is awesome. That's more than the last survey we did, which is
in day
wild.
one. Well,
Day one.
we haven't done like an overall big fan base survey like this. So
Still.
the other one was
still,
more insider-ish show.
I'm
Day
excited.
one over 500. I want a big chunk of Mavs fans. So keep sharing this and filling it out.
Do you want to give so 585 have responded to this question specifically so far? Let me tell you my favorite one so far.
You can spoil one, I guess.
Well, there's gonna be more responses by then. Do you give Nico any credit for getting Cooper Flagg? Yes or no?
Is the percentage?
Yeah. What's the percentage of yes? Give me a guess.
90%. No.
5% yes that think he should get credit. That's about 30 people out there. Think about this. As you're listening to this show, whether you're in the car, you're at the gym, you're at work, you're doing whatever, there are 30 individuals out there that think that Nico Harrison should get credit for getting
his family, cousins.
You listening may be one of them. The 5% odds that you are one of them. It just went down to hold on. It just went down to 4.9%. As I was talking, it went
Rob
down
Pelinka.
from 5%. It went down from 5% to 4.9%.
I could get to 30 pretty quick.
There's enough people out there that think he should get credit. Coming up, let's talk about AD in the small ball lineup. Is he in a small ball lineup or is it Cooper Flagg? Who is the center? We'll talk about that. I'll tell you the answer and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds, things that you can use to get in on the action. August 26th, write this down. That is FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans to live for bold predictions and preseason hunches, all kinds of stuff you can do on FanDuel with their futures. And for just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champion before week one even kicks off, this is your moment. My barber, Eric, shout out to Raccoon Squad member Eric.
Let's go, Eric.
He claims that the Cowboys are going to win their division this year. He is dead.
I'm
set
sorry,
on
Eric.
it. He is dead set on it. There's one Cowboys thing every year he gets to. Right now, Eric, you can get that for plus 55 or plus 550 right now. Eagles are minus 135. Commanders are plus 220. Cowboys are plus 550.
Don't
Giants
bet your tip money on that one.
Yeah, plus 2,200. Yeah, so go check that one out and do it on the 26th, August 26th. Visit FanDuel app today. Start planning your futures bet today because Futures Day is one day only. That's August 26th. FanDuel, play your game. Please gamble responsibly.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. We got the fan survey. Respond to that. It's just 25 questions, really quick. Just go in, check all the boxes, and then send it off to us. And we love that. Also, subscribe to our text line. That's the whole reason why we get to do this show right now, is because people like you support our show. And subscribe to that. We'll send you all the alerts throughout the offseason. Any kind of rumor we see, we'll answer mailbag questions. I sent a whole list. I answered 25, 30 questions today. Then I sent it off in a mailbag style, written out. And so you can get that and all kinds of other things during the season. So subscribe to that. Link in the description as well. 214-643-8637 is the text line. All right, Isaac, let's answer another question we got. Mavs question. Does AD play in the small ball five out lineup? I think they put it all together. Or does that become a PJ Cooper Flagg staple? What are your thoughts on this? Because I wrote mine out. I'm curious what yours are.
Yeah, I mean,
Does it count as a small ball lineup if AD's in it?
by his standards, yes,
AD standard?
because he's a 4 to him. Yeah, I mean, I think it is. If you go by height, then yeah, it doesn't make sense because you're like, oh, AD, Cooper, PJ of 3, 6'10" plus over guys. But yes, I think by how they're going to do a lot of their lineups and a lot of these double big lineups, then yes, it would be a small ball 5 with, AD at the 5. Like, yeah, I don't think you're going to have in a perfect world in which we're talking about the best possibilities for the Mavs. I don't think you're going to have a ton of lineups all the time. Like, you need AD on the floor. I don't think I'll see with that.
The whole idea of a small ball lineup or a 5-out lineup.
My dog's over here choking on something.
Is that your dog or my dog?
No, it's my dog.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard mine sneeze.
She's in her bed.
I thought that's
coughing.
what you were responding to. No. So our dog's just making noises. This whole thing of a small ball lineup is to have like guard skills at every position, basically, so that you can attack from multiple angles, you can defend and switch every single position. And Anthony Davis can do those things. You are getting the function of a small ball lineup with Anthony Davis at your 5. That's one of the reasons why we're so high on him being a 5 at some point. Why we're like, man, they're really going for this 5, this double big lineup, where more optimally it would be AD plays the 5 and you play 4 next to him that can shoot the 3, that can handle the ball like a PJ Washington or a Cooper Flagg at the 4 or something like that. That's why we've been high on that. But I think you do still get that. 5 out, I don't know you get that with AD. He's like under 30% three-point shooter. I don't know that he's getting the respect out there that he should, or that he, I don't think he's getting the respect, even though he can put it on the deck and attack from that area and all that. I don't know that you're getting a full 5 out. I don't think you're getting the benefit of the spacing, if this is what the question is about.
Small ball 5-out lineup. Okay. I took the question as like a small ball lineup in general.
Well, I think it's both. I'm saying I think those are two different things. I think a small ball lineup is different than a 5-out lineup. And I think if AD is at the 5, you can still get the small ball lineup benefits, but you don't get the 5-out spacing is the other part of this. Yeah.
I guess when I was saying a while ago, I was like thinking of a team having a small ball lineup, then it's something that you're going to throw out to have this, like, it's kind of like an ace up your sleeve a little bit. Like, hey, this is the lineup we're going to throw out as this.
From the Warriors that used to.
Yeah. I think you're in trouble roster construction wise if one of your best lineups is not featuring Anthony Davis, Lively, and Gafford, guys you've committed a lot of money to and a lot of, everything about. But yeah, I mean, we could see scenarios. I just don't think, okay, let me ask you this about small ball. What if we're like 5 games into the season and we have next to 0 minutes of AD at the 5?
I would not be surprised.
Would you be like frustrated by it?
If they were not winning and they had closed games with Lively at center and he's getting fouled to go to the free throw line, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the scenario where I feel like he's getting held back, or they're double teaming Anthony Davis, and you don't have to defend Lively or Gafford because if those are the reasons, and you see it's so obvious that if they just moved AD to the 5, they could have won a couple of those games. Yeah, I'd be frustrated, but I'm not going to be surprised. They're committing to this.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I wonder how many minutes we'll actually get. Just considering they did give Stafford an extension, and it's like there's times when you're extension?
Said they gave Stafford an extension.
Oh, I've been reading too.
Did the Rams do that?
Listen, I got 3 drafts coming up, and I've been really watching the Stafford back stuff. So I just been wondering how many minutes we're actually going to get of Anthony Davis at the 5, and are we going to get, one of the lineups I'm excited to see is like when AD's getting a break or whatever, and it's Lively, Cooper, PJ front court. And it's just like, let's just get up and down the floor, and, it's lobs, it's blocks, but it's like super fast paced and all of that. And it's not a shot against AD at all. It's just a different type of like basketball. When AD's in the game, like you need to get the ball to AD on the elbow and let him cook, let him do his thing and jab, and he's going to make his move and get to the basket. Like he's awesome in that range there, not taking long contested 2s, but getting to the basket and all the things. So there's just different line of versatility stuff that it does make it a lot of fun to dream up and see what we're going to get.
Yep. There's always going to be that fun lineup every year. And it usually doesn't involve the best player, right? Like you're like, I just want to see this lineup on the floor. And then maybe like 2 or 3 months in the season, go, oh man, that one actually sucks.
I can't wait for the and Andy's a great follow on Twitter, but I can't wait for the Andy Bailey tweet. I want to see the lineup of PJ and Cooper front court at the 4 and the 5. And it's, Cooper, PJ, Klay, Max, and D'Lo or Kyrie, and
well, my answer to that question in the mailbag is if Cooper Flagg is a generational rim defender early enough, I think we could see that lineup. Because then all of a sudden that changes your calculus a little bit. I think you would have
too many big guys out there, man.
Especially early, you'd have to have some injuries for sure in order for this to happen. Last year,
hey Cooper, do you want to chase around a point guard or do you want to battle in the post against a Jokic type of body?
They also would have to have one of those perimeter defenders emerge as a really good point of attack defender because all those small ball lineups have really good point of attack defenders. And if you don't have that, then what are you doing? you got
to play good defense. You got to be able to hit a lot of threes. You got to be able to switch.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Coming up, what do Lively and Max Christie need for their development? We got a couple questions on that. I'm going to tell you coming up. All right, Isaac, we are talking about Anthony Davis a lot and the Mavs' best case scenario. We talked about him in a small ball lineup, a 5-out lineup. The Lakers, by the way, did run some small ball lineups without Anthony Davis. They ran like 386 possessions of LeBron or Rui at center and 375 possessions of Jared Vanderbilt at center. But that was kind of that JJ did run that.
I would say
probably out of necessity.
I would say it's probably a little bit different than having vets like McGee and Dwight compared to a top 10 draft pick and Lively or a lottery pick and Lively and a newly extended Gafford.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
Very different. Sure.
I mean, those two other guys are good enough to win a title next to AD at the big. So I'm not like,
I was talking about their team this past year with like Jackson Hayes and Christian Gallo.
Oh, okay. So. Definitely different. Yes.
Definitely different for sure. So a couple of questions we got. How about a deeper dive on how Lively can improve his offense? He won't have Luka or Kyrie feeding him dunk opportunities. Does he focus on 3-point shooting, 8-foot jumpers? Where do you see Lively's progression, his offensive progression, go next year?
Yeah, I mean, some type of you want him to be comfortable around the basket to where it's not just dunks. He gets an offensive rebound. You want him to feel comfortable enough to go up with a little jump hook shot. I'm not as focused much on a post game for Lively because I think it's one of those cases. If you're running post moves for Lively with AD, Cooper Flagg, Kyrie, Klay, all these other people on the floor, then that's a win for the other team. So I'm not.
I don't know if I agree with that anymore.
What?
He's got to be able to take advantage of a mismatch. There's going to be switches, and the thing about that is there's going to be switches in this lineup because they're going to run a lot of pick and roll. And they're going to run a lot of screens, so he's got to be able to take advantage of a smaller player on him. And I think
if Marcus Smart is switched off on him, you want all those other guys to clear out, and you want Lively
take a hook shot over Marcus Smart if he's deep enough in the post.
Yeah. Yes. If you get Marcus Smart and you're like on the block or like a 2 feet away from the back, then you just go up for like a dunk type of thing. I mean, like he gets switched off on him and they're swinging the ball around. They're like, post up. And then they're throwing it to him and he's like jabbing, all this stuff. I'm not like, I think that's a win for the other team. It's kind of like the Boban effect back in the day. It's like, okay, cool. You dump it down to Boban, but that's like a win for the other team.
Don't you say anything disparaging about Boban on this program.
I think the biggest thing, like we know he can protect the paint. We know he can, catch lobs and all this stuff, play above the rim. We've talked about the perimeter defense a lot, right? I think the biggest help for him to stay on the floor and the biggest help for him to, for this team and everything is just to be able to hit that open jump shot. That's the next
a three or
I mean, let's just say a corner three or that kind of mid-range shot there, a little past the short corner that you can still be out there and space the floor, but they're not going to just not guard you like a Westbrook type of thing. So I think it's just hitting that shot and the perimeter defense. That's the biggest areas.
The number one thing is something I've already mentioned is his free throw percentage. Shot, 65% last year, 50-something his rookie year. He's got to be better at that. Going back to his post-up touches. So last year,
you really want some lively post-up touches, don't you?
I just want him to be able to take advantage of a mismatch. I think that would help the Mavericks offense so much because it's not going to be as mobile, mobile and fluid as a pick and roll with a Luka Doncic, or even a Kyrie, to be honest. Like you're not going to have that much. You're going to have him set up with D'Angelo Russell. They're going to have enough of those. He's going to run pick and rolls with D'Angelo Russell, with Cooper Flagg, with Max Christie, with Najee, with Anthony Davis. Even like they're going to run him for sure. I'm not saying they're not going to run him anymore. It's just not going to be as good as a savant would run them.
Yeah,
and so he's got to be able to take advantage of switches because there's going to be switches on this team. 1,200 possessions last year total for Lively, 1,270. How many post touches do you think he got?
17.
12. Really close. Yeah, not many. Year before that, his rookie year, 1,906 total possessions, 10 post ups total for him.
Sounds about right.
They have not gone to that at all, which makes sense this point in his career. But I'd like to see at least a couple times have him be able to take advantage of a mismatch. I also think his passing is something that is going to take another level because the Mavs are going to need to be a better passing team than they have been in the past because it's just been one player sets up everything and kicks it out to a player that's waiting and like fed a shot, right? They're not going to have that anymore. You got to be better at passing. He had 4 more passes a game from his rookie year to his sophomore year and 1.3 more assists per game from his rookie year to his sophomore year. And that was an improvement on his assist rate overall. And I think that is a good sign. And he's a great passer, great in the short roll.
I was going to say short roll. He can hit the corner and hit that pass a lot. So
great making decisions. And so I think that is one of the things I think will keep him viable in an offense without a Luka Doncic running the pick and roll to answer this question.
Yeah.
Last one here. We got a question about Max Christie. What happened to Max Christie last year? How did he go from being Chris Middleton for the first few games to not even being in the rotation? This question made me chuckle a little bit because what do you mean what happened to Max Christie? Because I don't think the fall off is as hard as some people think that it is. Maybe the feeling felt like he fell off hard, but so this person asked the question, he went from being Chris Middleton to not even being in the rotation. All right, so he had this stretch of 17 games. So the first 17 games he played really well. He started 10 games. He started 10 games out of that 17. He averaged 32 minutes and 12 points in that 17 game stretch. That's the stretch where he was averaging double digits. He was out there. That Rockets game was in there with the Anthony Davis and Kyrie and Gafford and all that. Kyrie also played in 6 of those games and averaged 28 points. He had somebody to play off of. In the next stretch of games, so he is in the starting lineup, then he's out of the starting lineup. And then there's like 15 games to end the season when he was coming off the bench. He averaged 28 minutes a game and 10 points. Like 32 minutes a game for the first 17, 28 minutes for the next 15, 12 points a game in the good stretch, 10 points a game in the bad stretch. It's like the fall off was not really that hard for Max Christie. What I think is different is that Kyrie part of it. Kyrie played in like 6 of those early games, averaged 28 points a game in those games he played. The Mavs went 5-2 in that stretch. That Houston game was in there, and Max Christie had somebody to play off of. Then all of a sudden, the best perimeter offensive player on the team was Klay Thompson. And so you're like, how do we set this offense up? Who's setting up the offense? Dinwiddie's leading the team in minutes. You know what I mean? Like that, I think, is what happened to Max Christie. I don't.
Did he tell you that he led the team in minutes?
Did Dinwiddie tell you that?
Yeah.
I saw it posted somewhere. Maybe it was Basketball Reference. But I think that's what happened with Max Christie. I don't think it was a fall off like he was good, then all of a sudden he wasn't good.
Yeah, it's just some of his efficient basketball. I mean, he naturally had a little bit more turnovers towards that last stretch of the season. But to Nick's point,
who was he passing to?
well, he was having. I think he was being forced into these roles of having to create and stuff. I think for a lot of people, like you got hopes really up early on of like, dude, this young star's coming. Young star could possibly be coming in. And then he plays really well. And you're like, all right, the next evolution of Max's game is to handle the ball more and create and get into the paint, like all the stuff. And we've talked about players playing a little above what this spot they should be in. And I think that just kind of hit him. And he just looked more uncomfortable out there whenever that stuff started happening. So it was like Brandon Williams is like one of the only guys out there running a point. And yeah. So if he can get back to that defined role of the 3-and-D type of guy, I think that's better suited for Max. But if you're in the camp of, hey, he's going to be like an option to create offense and stuff through, then don't watch, the last portion of the season last year.
He's got to have stars to play off of. His whole career with the Lakers, he played off of LeBron and AD. So that's the kind of player he is. That's the kind of player that we want him to end up being.
Top 6 player alongside AD.
There you go. Tomorrow, be back with more. Maybe a what if, maybe something else. Go answer the Mavs fan survey that we have posted in here, and we'll be back tomorrow. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked on Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom. Go listen to No Ceilings. Locked in to be draft with No Ceilings.